Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, amazing news today that we got pertaining to Liam Payne and, progress and what's being made. But I want to share with you guys a little bit of what the fans are saying on Twitter, specifically those that are probably a little bit more closer to Argentina and understand a little bit more of Argentinian law. Somebody said on Twitter, let me be clear on the update of Liam Payne's case. Yes, some of you guys are right that we cannot celebrate as much as we want because Rogelio is not even in prison. In addition, the charges was lowered from abandonment of a person followed by death to guilty homicide that in Argentina is considered less serious because it would indicate negligence, but not an intentional issue. However, the fact that the judge has not dropped the charges is an advance. So that we understand how these charges look and what they mean, okay? And again, shout out to the fans on Twitter because they keep us informed and updated. We have to continue to demand justice and truth and wait for Madre, the prosecutor, to prove his theory that all this was premeditated, appealing to the charge again so that Norris can be judged for abandonment of a person followed by death, and thus his sentence can exceed 10 years in prison. So far, I don't think they have taken away the charge for the supply of narcotics. I repeat, the fact that the judge has not dismissed the charges and closed the case should be a light and a motivation for us to continue demanding justice for Liam. The motivation that we will need in trial. The question here would be, Judge, why did you change the charges on Rogelio Norris? Did he convince you with the croissants? Not with the fucking croissants. Now TMZ has decided to report on it, which I find it very interesting. You would think like TMZ would have been the first to break this, given that they have sources and whatnot down there, but they have now decided to talk about it. Liam Payne several charge in connection to death. Waiter Brian Paez, friend Roger Norris among them. Okay. Now, they said several people connected to Liam Payne's death are facing formal charges in Argentina, according to the local reports in the Latin American country. Infobay, which is a source that we all cited, an Argentinian online newspaper revealed Saturday that sources with direct knowledge of the case confirm 5 people have been charged by the judge. Among them, Liam Payne's friend, Roger Norris, who says he left Liam at Casa Sur Palermo Hotel about an hour before he fell to his death, who authorities have charged with negligent homicide. Now, if you guys remember going to the other post, it used to be abandonment. Is negligent homicide a situation now where like he'll serve less time if he's found guilty of that? That's really the question that I have. It appears Norris has been embargoed, which by the way, I had to look that up because I had never really heard embargo, which is to impose an official ban on to cease goods and stuff like that. So when I was talking to Julia and Eugenia, they basically let me know it's like they can cease pretty much anything when somebody is in an embargo type of situation. Embargo bank accounts, they can, get, I guess, financials, whatever financials is out there, or any credit or anything like that, they can actually move towards ceasing those one way or another. And I think that's the way I've never heard it used before. So that was a new thing for me to learn. Now, the other thing too, shout out to Abraham, who also put it in the comments. Abraham said, an embargo is like the seizing of property in the amount of X dollars, like bail being set at 5 million pesos or something like that. So when Infobay was saying that Rogelio Norris embargo was 50 million pesos, right? Because that's maybe the amount that he had, considering properties, maybe credits, financials, and stuff like that. Brian Paez was 5 million. I'm thinking that this was like bail, but it wasn't even like that. It was really a process of ceasing property. So I'm glad that I went back and I looked at that. So shout out to Abraham. Shout out to Julia and Eugenia for correcting me on that and just letting me know the best way to explain that. Okay. Now let's continue on with the TMZ article. It appears that Norris has been embargoed from leaving the country. So Norris, Baez, and I'm assuming the others had to turn in whatever documentation that they have to leave the country, like passports and stuff like that, though it's unclear if he's been taken into custody by authorities. Well, I mean, if we understand how Infobae has put this out here, they basically said, like, listen, Brian Paez and Ezequiel Pereira have 24 hours. The judge gave them 24 business hours to basically turn themselves in. Now, what's unclear to me is whether Rogelio had to turn himself in, or Esteban Grassi or Grisela Martin, any of those other individuals, if they had to turn themselves in, right? The Infobay article really only talked about Brian Paez. What is so interesting, and Julia pointed this out, is Brian Paez IG post, right? So I showed you guys earlier how he was like partying it up and everything. Well, he put a post that it was about maybe like 18 hours ago where he's going out to like a nightclub, and he basically on the bottom it says, "No me juzgues, podría ser la última." Basically saying, don't judge me. This could be the last, telling the people not to judge him because this is going to be the last. And then he's got these pictures where he's modeling, he's partying it up. He basically understands that maybe his time is up and he's going to be facing some of these consequences. What is so interesting about this, too, is I have a feeling, and other people have said this too, is that Brian Paez knew that this was coming. He knew this was coming, I think, beforehand, but he knew that he would have to turn himself in here pretty soon. So what he decided to do was to party it up before he turned himself in. I mean, I don't know, y'all. How would you spend your last couple of hours? If you're facing all of this, I guess that becomes a question. But he apparently decided to party. Now, again, it says that Rogelio Norris, we don't know if he's been turned to custody. I think that's unclear, but we will find out. Brian Paez, a waiter who admitted to using drugs, including cocaine with Payne, was charged with supplying narcotics for payment. Casa Sur employee Ezequiel Pereira was also charged with supplying narcotics, with cops saying each gave Liam drugs. So Ezequiel Pereira has been very quiet. The only one that has been very vocal out of everything was Brian Paez and Rogelio Norris. Brian Paez, again, has denied that he ever, he's made a lot of denials and changes to his story, but now, I mean, he's going to have to sit in the shit that he has created. Hotel managers Gilda Martin and Esteban Gracia have also reportedly been charged with manslaughter. All five have been summoned to appear to court. So they have been. It's interesting how TMZ writes this. What we know so far, based on Infobay, TMZ, like, this is what drives me crazy because they're reporting it different than what Infobay, how they release the information. They must have gotten their translators that are like all over the place, whatever. But they've all been summoned to appear to court. But Brian Paez and Ezequiel are the only ones that we know that have been remanded, right? That they actually have to go and basically will be arrested. The other ones we don't know anything about. So they might have been summoned, but we don't know if the other ones will be arrested. I don't know. These charges look like they may come down earlier this month. A judge gave prosecutors a go ahead to charge Norris with abandonment, but apparently that charge has changed. As you know, Payne tumbled off a balcony. No, he didn't tumble off a balcony after drinking whiskey and using cocaine all day. You see how this is what drives me crazy about TMZ. His death shocked the music industry and obviously has led to a major investigation in Argentina. We dived into the stupid documentary and we have shitted on that documentary because it's bullshit and we know it. And yeah, that's what we have done. We have completely shitted on that documentary. Okay, that's what we did on this channel. And so they use that opportunity to promote this documentary. I have so many questions, y'all, because there's still something that does not, there's a couple things that don't sit right with me. Okay. What about Brett Watson's friend, not friend, wedding planner. Okay. What about her testimony? Are these the only individuals that are going to be charged? What about the young man that was mentioned in the text messages between Rogelio Norris and Liam Payne? What about that young man? What about, like, there's just so much. These five cannot be the only ones to have been charged. Now, here's the other thing, too. Okay. What about the prostitutes? Did they supply anything? What about the Rolex watch? Somebody has this Rolex watch. How did TMZ report that it was damaged? How do they even know that? Because all we knew is that it was missing. Something's not making sense whatsoever. Y'all, I mean, let me know what you guys think about all of this information. Of course, we're happy to get some good news, but my biggest fear is that Rogelio Nortes will either get less time or not get anything at all. And I'm a little worried about that. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And shout out to you guys for supporting the channel. Make sure you hit the like button and share, share, share. That is the best way to get the news out there, because note who's actually talking about this, right? Note that and note and see how TMZ is twisting the narrative even till this day. Okay. They see a bunch of YouTubers talking about the news, and what do? Oh, the YouTubers are talking about it. Let's go report on it, right? Because, and let's do our little spin to it. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.